meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum,
Uh-huh.
you're covering a really strong winning team right now, John. I am not. The Baylor women are reeling. They have 3 straight losses. I put in the game story for today. It's the first 3-game losing streak for Baylor in Big 12 play since the 2000-2001 season. That was Kim Mulkey's first year at Baylor.
Wow.
It was also the first time they allowed 60% shooting in a game since Sonja Hogg was coach. So
Holy moly.
I know these are not records you want to be making. So, the last 2 games have been particularly lopsided against Oklahoma State and K-State. What have you seen? What are their issues in your mind?
Well, it seems like since that overtime loss against OU, which a game they just really blew, it just doesn't seem like their focus has been very good at all. The last 2 games they've committed 39 turnovers combined, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing very good defense. It just seems like teams are getting pretty like point blank open shots a lot of the time. I don't know. I'll hand it to you, Bryce. You've watched it closer.
No, I think that evaluation is dead on in terms of the lack of focus. Nikki Collin alluded to it this week when she mentioned that she talked to the team on Monday. They had, of course, that game in Stillwater on Saturday. Then they have an off day on Sunday, off day because I'm sure they still lifted weights and things like that. But, an off day from practice. They have so many of those built into the schedule by NCAA rules. And then they met again for practice on Monday to get ready for K-State. And she asked the team, how many of you have watched the tape from the Oklahoma State game? And she said about half of the team raised their hands, and obviously half didn't. She mentioned that some of the players who hadn't watched it were starters, and she felt like that was sort of telling because, how are you going to get better if you're not, examining and self-evaluating, not just waiting for the coaches to show you, where you could get better, but doing it on your own time. She mentioned that Caitlin Bickle had probably watched it 3 times by that point.
Right.
So, that's kind of alarming and kind of an issue. I would say you need the buy-in from everyone. And then you hit on it. I mean, the defense has been poor. And when you have a team like this Baylor team, who, doesn't have Asia Blackwell, doesn't have Dreana Edwards. So, they're very guard oriented. You still have a good freshman forward in Buggs. You still have, kind of their glue player in Bickle who, they're infinitely better when she's on the floor. But they're very guard oriented and that they're also very streak shooting. I've said that a million times this season. I mean, they're just a streak shooting team. So if you have a streak shooting team, that means you're going to have inconsistency in your scoring and your shooting percentage. But what can be consistent is your defense, your defensive effort. And when they got off to that 3-0 start, their defense was amazing. And they were, and they're still, now it's probably fallen off after last night, but they were still one of the best teams in guarding the 3-point line in the Big 12. But, it's all trending in the wrong direction right now for the Bears. So it's not going well, and they need to get it corrected in a hurry. And it ain't going to be easy because they got a tough Iowa State team coming in to Waco on Saturday.